Hey everybody, it's Lo and welcome back to my channel, Lo Without Limits. After a few months of posting weekly on this channel, I realized that I've never done an about me and I've never shared why I started this channel or the blog to start with. So if you want to see more of that and just like hear more about me from my own words and why I started this and what you expect from here, then just keep watching. Hey guys, so I graduated from Chapman in December of 2016. I finished a semester early, but I ended up walking in May of 2017 with my class. And when I went into school, I studied television broadcast journalism as my major. And growing up, I wanted to be Juliana Rancic. And then I was like, no, I'm not really into entertainment. I want to do like local news. And then I interned at ABC7, the LA channel, when I was in college. And I realized that I don't like local news at all. It's so dark and depressing. So I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. I was still doing Chapman News every week. And I realized like, oh, maybe I like more producing and being kind of like behind the scenes and like being in control of what I like to do. At another internship who I worked with used to be an entertainment reporter for CNN, and she started her own PR firm because she felt the same as me, that she didn't like being told what to do and being the puppet going out and reporting these stories. So I interned there with my last semester, heard from her, and I was completely related. I graduated, and the week after I finished my last final, I started at E doing live events. So it was kind of this weird full circle thing of me wanting as like a 13-year-old to be Juliana Rancic and then to work alongside Juliana Rancic on some award shows was so crazy, especially when I was in high school and I was like, oh, I'm not into entertainment anymore, and now here I am. I've since left that job and I've started working on Lady Gang TV, and I do love producing so much more and having more of that creative control. And that's kind of why I started this channel too. I still love reporting and also being in front of the camera and sharing what I know. And I realized that why I like reporting and what drew me to that as a kid, and even like getting on my fireplace mantle and doing the weather every night as a kid, was learning things and figuring things out and then sharing them back in an easy way. And through that and through high school and college, I've always been interested in like health and fitness, and like in high school, obviously it came from like a bad place. If you've read a few of my posts on it, and it just was like really negative. So I wanted to always lose weight. In college, I really fell in love with the gym. So it's a lot more positive than what it was in high school. So many years later, but I still like love food and creating new foods and learning about things. And a lot of it is just so hard to understand, but I've always loved science growing up. My mom is super surprised that I went to school for broadcast journalism. She's like, you suck at writing, like you're really good at science. And I was like, but it seems so boring. And now I look back at it and I'm like, I would have loved doing something in science, but at the same time, like I love what I'm doing now. And while I have like my work life and I'm doing things like that and I do love my job, it's somebody else's idea, somebody else's plan, other people helping execute it. It's not just my thing. There's so much traffic on my little intersection today, I cannot. But it's somebody else's thing. Whereas this and like my passion of like health and wellness has just kind of become my own thing, and I can tie that in with like the science of it and like learning more of that. But at the same time, the reporting and the like sharing back in an easy and like fun to understand way, and I like love editing. So doing this and having this YouTube channel is like my little side way of like, I like reading about the science things, I like the producing, but like that's also their thing, that's someone else's thing. I'm gonna take both of what I can do and like mash them in to this. So that's kind of why I started the blog, with the intention of doing more of this YouTube channel when I started it about a year ago. And this, I just didn't have the time because of work and traveling. And now I'm like making the time, and if it's something that I want to do and something that I want to put more effort into, like you gotta make the time for it. So now I'm doing this, and it's just a fun way for me to really tie everything that I've like loved together. Like I've fallen in love with the gym so much and making new recipes and healthy things. And about a month ago now, I had to go to the ER because I thought was my appendix. Turns out it was just like my gut was super inflamed from something that I ate. So I'm kind of doing like an elimination diet with that. I've always been kind of lactose intolerant, and now I'm like, okay, like can't let any of that slip in anywhere. And then I'm cutting out gluten again because I did have an issue with it in high school, but I got tested and they're like, well, it's not celiac, like you're fine. So I would eat it occasionally. And at that time, like I'd gained 10 pounds like the week leading up to me ending up in the ER. And since leaving the ER, and they're like, well, it's not your appendix, so like, so far as we can tell, it's like you're fine. And it hasn't been bad since then, so I'm ruling that one out, thank God. But your gut's super inflamed, maybe I'll get that. I'm like, okay, well, I've always had an issue with gluten. I'm gonna cut that out completely. From starving that day at the ER, because in case it was my appendix, they're like, don't eat or drink anything, and I hadn't eaten anything that day at all. And then not really having an appetite that weekend, and then just cutting everything out, like all the snacks that I was just eating at work, which is like all dairy, all gluten, cutting everything out in a week, I like lost 10 pounds. So now my channel is gonna focus more on that, and like losing, like, or doing recipes and everything without dairy, without gluten, trying to stay healthy, but at the same time not like hounding down about like different lifestyles, like this is what you have to do, like this is my lifestyle, this is what I've like chosen, what works best for me. And I just wanted to share my experiences to see if it works well for you too, but I'm not gonna be like hounding things like at you. And as well as, I lost my train of thought. Another reason why I started the blog and then this channel to follow was because when I finished school in December 2016, I was living at home that semester, and then I got a job like the next Monday. And for about a year, I was living at home, and like my commute was just almost like 4 hours, like every single day, at least 4 hours. And it was just such a mental like toll on me, and I would still like love to go to the gym because that's my me time, and we have like the low cubicles, everybody's always talking, it's like a very social environment, which I love, and I love everybody that I work with there. But, and at the same time, and then I'm like driving, yes, I'm alone in the car, but I'm also like, don't run into anybody, don't try to hit anybody, like you suck at driving. So I was using so much mental power, I didn't really get to be with myself and have that time to myself. So I would go to the gym at like 9 p.m. when I would finally come home, and then I try to meal prep my lunch and then just do all these things, and I was just running on such low sleep that finally, about a year ago now, November 30th of 2017, I finally moved out to my own apartment. And it was in these times, it was before this that I started the blog, and after that I started this channel, that I was like, I'm a young girl, like living on my own, trying to figure this out, and like maintaining my apartment, like I have to deal with it all on my own now. Of course, I'm not too far from home, so if anything big does happen, like I can call my dad. But you know, trying to get like looking for new jobs, and I do like technically work freelance, so I'm always just kind of like on the lookout for like something new or creating my own thing, as well as trying to eat healthy, trying to have a healthy lifestyle, go to the gym, have like my mental sanity, because I do have anxiety. Although since coming off birth control, like my amount of panic attacks has gone from like every other week to like 2 or 3 since coming off, which is amazing, because that's almost been a year now too. And just so many new things, and like budgeting and making this place my own, and working, and just dealing with so much, and like seeing friends. It's like all very new to me, and like new to be on my own, like completely, because even when I lived at Chapman, again, I was just 20 minutes away from home. So I figured a good way to share my experiences, like trying to figure out adulthood in like apartment, jobs, workout, life, all these different things. And my tagline is figuring out adulthood through wellness and wonder, because that's what I'm doing. Like I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to do it while being healthy and focusing on my wellness and my health and wellness and well-being. And I just want to share that experience with you as I figure out adulthood, because it's something that so many people go through and so many people struggle through, and like don't have anybody there with them, or don't know if they can balance everything on their own. And like while I still struggle with balancing everything on my own, I try to be as like honest as possible, and I'm doing what I love to do while at the same time like trying to go, like have a job and doing all, like being healthy. And sometimes it doesn't always work out, but I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm definitely making mistakes along the way. But it's just kind of like a fun little ride, and I'm happy you guys are here and just like watching this and taking this ride with me. And I really hope you enjoyed this video and just like heard a little bit more about me. And it was kind of like a ramble in some parts. I should have like written it down or whatever. But if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Now, since my YouTube channel has only really been going weekly for about 3 months now, I am trying to focus on health and wellness and workouts, but also good eating and just like my lifestyle, potentially traveling. I don't have time to like travel to Europe again, but you know, like around LA. And like for someone who grew up in Orange County, like to me, like LA is finally making sense. And like I barely ever really came up here, and like people come here on vacation in a week and knock out so many things that I've like never seen. So I definitely want to do that. So let me know what you want to see and subscribe to this channel, and thank you for watching. See you in the next video.